The French Revolution is the name of the movement in France that started in 1789 with the so-called popular and bourgeoisie revolt of the middle class against the king, the noblesse and the priests, and the political and social consequences that affected the world. The French Revolution of 1789, which was one of the turning points of world history, was a great tradition that allowed the ending of the new age and the beginning of the new future. The social, political and economic crisis that France fell into in the 18th century became major factors in the rise of the French Revolution. Enlightenment ideals such as freedom, equality, fraternity, popular sovereignty, gender equality and nationalism were brought out into the open and started to become influential and widespread, and many intellectuals pioneered the revolution such as Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Voltaire, Montesquieu.
It's a pity if the people have no other time to spend to earn their bread. It must be time for you to eat your bread with joy. Otherwise, it will not win for a long time. The just and benevolent God who wants the people to work wants their rest as well. Nature also wants the people to work and rest at the same time. To work and to have pleasure at the same time. The disgust against work makes poor people grow away from work.
As a result of the influential ideas of the French Revolution, the absolute monarch was overthrown and the republic was founded. Therefore, the causes of the French Revolution and its consequences can be demonstrated by focusing on France's economical, political and social system. Poverty, income inequality, the pressures of the nobility and the royal family on the people, class distinction and social inequality were the reason for the revolt.
On the other hand, when the legislative and executive powers are united in the same person or in the same body of magistrates, there can be no liberty because apprehensions may arise, lest the same monarch or senate should enact tyrannical laws to execute them in a tyrannical manner.
The French Revolution, which started as a social movement, has been adopted in Europe and the West. In the 1789, because of the tax collection problem, Parliament gathered and the Parliament was composed of nobility and religious people. It caused structural contradictions in society. The French people became conscious and opposed the order of the king and wanted to have a say in the administration. The country that has acquired the habit of reading books has begun to work to establish a beautiful future for their children by sending their children to the university, and with it, French society has made a great cultural breakthrough. Together with the conscious society, the public was increasingly critical, fed by independent media, and the demands of the society have become more mature. This idea of social equality leads to gender equality as well. The Declaration of the Right of Women and Female Citizens was written on 5th of September in 1971 by Olympus de Gaulle and published. Then they eliminated gender discrimination. Oppressed people learned to seek their rights.
Woman, wake up! The tocsin of reason is being heard throughout the whole universe. Discover your rights. The powerful empire of nature is no longer surrounded by prejudice, fanaticism, superstition and lies. The flame of truth has dispersed all the claws of folly and usurpation. Enslaved man has multiplied his strength and needs recourse to yours to break his chains. Having become free, he has become unjust to his companion. Oh, woman, woman!
Yes, I want.
The first political reason of French Revolution can be examined under the subtitle of Kingdom Administrations. Firstly, French has been ruled strictly in the 16th century. The king didn't have to account for anyone except God. Uncategorized and power-gathered taxes were divided into pleasures and amusement of the kingdom. Therefore, towards the end of 18th century, the people have started to rebel and revolt against the absolute monarchs. Similar to this issue, existence of some strict barriers through people to participate in the management and governance, also democracy-like governments in other countries were one of the main elements that triggered the French Revolution as well. Secondly, the Democrats who had never been accepted by King Louis had attacked the Bastille prison, which they saw as the center of the British press, and seized the prison and released the prisoners in 14 July 1789. The Bastille raid considered as a local popular movement during the French Revolution, and this movement is the boom of the French Revolution.
It's too hot, man. I cannot stand to here. Stay here. Oh my god, what will I do? There should be someone to save me. It's too hard to live here. There should be someone. Oh man, where are you? Oh, finally.
Finally, in addition to all these political reasons and issues of the French Revolution, the revolution went as far as the flipping king's head and drove many different radical movements in the next period as a result of this movement. There were some political trends, concepts and regimes emerging and observing as a result of the French Revolution, such as nationalism, freedom, equality, women's rights and democracy.
One of the main causes of the French Revolution was the country's economic instability. Excessive expenses of the dynasty, incorrect political decisions about economy, and wars has dragged the country into a deadlock.
Umut yoksulun ekmeği, umut sevenin dileği, insanoğlu hayallerle tasarlamış geleceği. Umut yoksulun ekmeği, umut sevenin dileği, insanoğlu hayallerle tasarlamış geleceği.
Taxation can be one of the many causes of the French Revolution. The kings imposed taxes without showing any reason under the name of taille. Taille, in other words, direct tax, was a form of taxation on income, not property. Therefore, everyone in the country had to give to the king a bit of their income. Taxes created inequality which is already existing in between classes. In addition to that, Throne's expenses have caused an increase in taxes which ended up by borrowing more and increasing the deficit. Matthews argues that Necker, the Swiss finance minister of France, suggested that borrowing money would solve the economic crisis in France.
Louis, honey, I want more jewelry and more silks.
Yes, you're right. We can buy some luxury items more.
My king, my queen, we don't have any money. People cannot even have bread.
If they can't find bread, then let them eat cake.
Actually, yes, there is a solution. We can borrow some money or we can increase the taxes.
Yeah, you're right. We can do it.
One of the major characters of French Revolution who represent the royal court and their inconsiderate behaviors was Marie Antoinette, as known as Madame Deficit. She is known as her famous quote, "Let them eat cake, when the peasant has no bread to eat." To summarize, the royal court's inconsideration and the wrong economic policies were the large part of the causes of French Revolution.
In conclusion, the French Revolution concluded in 1799 with the fall and abolition of Frank monarchy and the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte's dictatorship. In place of the monarchy, French established a democratic republic devoted to the ideas of liberalism, secularism and other philosophies that became popular during the Enlightenment. As a quick summary, it can be said that the Age of Enlightenment in the 18th century brought forth a new freedom through an uprising middle class of people. In the light of this rise, the monarchs were slowly turned away under the quick brilliance of these newly enlightened societies. Therefore, revolutionary governments were also started to be created according to rationality, liberty, and equality. Finally, there can be observed some principal goals and results of the Enlightenment, included the idea of democracy, freedom of thought, women's rights, political liberties, and spreading currents such as nationalism in the light of three essential perspectives called economic, social, and finally political.
Ne serait-ce qu'un petit bonjour, je vous vois passer quand je suis assis, vous êtes debout pressé, j'apprécie, un petit regard, un petit sourire, me prennent le temps, ne font que courir. Si je m'endors, me réveillerez-vous, il fait si froid de